G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And over the last 18 months I have spent a very large quantity of currency on my Accord. And today I wanted to have an honest discussion with you all to let you know how much it's cost me to get my car to this point. Everything from the purchase price to the servicing to the repairs and of course the modifications. So I bought this car in June 2020 for $8,000, and the first thing I had to buy was insurance, which for the first year cost me $1,100 and for the second year cost me $1,050. Then I got a few repairs done to the car. The first one was to repaint the front and rear bumpers because they had a few little sort of paint chips on them for $700. Then I repaired the factory curbed wheels, which set me back about $300, and I also got a few dents pulled for $40. Now let's discuss the service costs of this car. Thankfully, when I bought it, it was freshly serviced. So in my time, all I've had to do is the transmission fluid, the spark plugs, and an engine oil and filter change at my local Honda dealership, which set me back about $350. Along with that, I've also had to do a warrant of fitness, which is $25, two fresh registrations, which was about $215. I've also had various bulbs blow out around the place every now and then, which set me back about $65 over time. And I've also had to buy a couple of bottles of FEO to keep this thing topped up, especially at track days and things where it burns a little more than under regular usage. And the last annoying thing, some of you guys may remember that a couple of months ago I had an engine light on for a few of my videos. Well, that was actually caused by my NOx sensor going out, and replacing that was very expensive at $350. Now let's discuss fuel. In the last 1,700 kilometers I've filled my car with 95 octane, of course, 30 times at an average cost of $128 a tank, which comes to a total of 1,700 litres of gasoline that I have put in my vehicle, totaling $3,800. That in turn translates to an average of roughly 10 cents per kilometre in fuel at an average fuel economy of 9.3 litres per 100k. And now the moment that you've all been waiting for: how much has it cost to modify this car? And I can't be bothered remembering everything, so I'm just going to read them out for you. The first thing I did was install some lowering springs, and when you add in the cost of the springs themselves, the labour and the wheel alignment afterwards, it came to $860. Then I got some new Sparco DS1 wheels, and I got them repainted because they were originally gold and absolutely trashed, and the total cost of the wheels and paint was $850. Then I needed 4 new RE003 tyres, which I got at a pretty decent rate, $1,200. Then I got a ECU Reflash for my car, which was $450. Then I bought a Yonaka Catback exhaust, which was $1,100. Then some PLM headers, which was $770. And then when I installed my headers, I discovered that they were leaking from the test pipe. So I took it into a shop and got that welded along with the slip joint for $215. Then I bought and installed a DC5 Type R Gearset, which came to a total of $2,500. Then I bought a Corona cold air intake, which was $300. I also bought a few cosmetics for the car, like a Euro shift knob, the Flow Designs lip kit, and the Type S Grille, among a few other little bits and pieces, which set me back $1,400. Then I also bought some Hawk Performance brake pads to help me out on a track day, and they made a very big difference, I must say, for $350. And then, thankfully, after that enormous cost, I managed to sell off a few other things like the stock wheels and the stock grille and the stock intake and so on, and made back another $700. And now, the totals. Oh my gosh. Purchase price, $8,000. Insurance, $2,159. Repairs, $1,040. Servicing, $1,105. Fuel, $3,675. Modifications, $10,019. Selling minus $685, which brings us to a total amount spent on this car, $25,403. So having spent an enormous amount of money on my car, would I recommend doing the same to yours? Yes, but I would do things differently. I did things the very, very expensive way by paying fair money for a very tidy, one owner, full service history, facelift, manual, New Zealand new Accord Euro, which is a recipe for spending big bucks. And then I bought pretty much all the parts I used to modify this thing brand new, not all of which were necessary. Cosmetics like paintwork, repairing wheels and dents, and the grille, lip kit and shift knob added about $3,000 to the cost for zero performance gains. And even the parts that did add performance, like the headers, exhaust, intake and various other bits and things, could probably also have been bought used, saving cost. As much as I do really love this car, I do have to accept that it doesn't really represent very good value for money because of the way that I've modified it. I guess to put things in perspective, my friend Jack bought a newer and lower K's BMW 335i and then plugged his phone in and spent $450 on an engine and transmission tune, and he can now keep up with Ferraris, whereas I'm out here barely able to keep up with his $5,000 second car, a manual 3-litre R Legacy. But the good news is the K24 A2 and A3 are some of the best 4-cylinder engines. Do the mods I've suggested to you as cheaply as possible, and your $5,000 Accord will give pretty much anything with a small 4-cylinder turbo or V6 a solid run for its money. And really all you need is an intake, headers, reflash, and maybe the Type R gears if you want. Who cares about all the other stuff? And these things are rapid. And the best part, unlike most modified cars that once you've done all the modifications to are loud and noisy and uncomfortable and don't have any features on the inside, the Accord is still an Accord. It's extremely quiet and comfortable on the open road. I would happily drive this car to Auckland and back without an issue, even with all the modifications that's been done to it, because it's so comfortable. It's got cruise control, it's got a really good sounding stereo system. At heart, it is just a family sedan. And I know if you put this engine in a little EG Civic or something that handles a bit more like a go-kart, you would probably have more fun. But not everybody wants a car that feels like a tin can to drive on the road. This feels substantial and solid and well put together, but at any moment you can utilize that quick revving 4-cylinder. Oh my gosh, got a bit of torque steer there. And just put your foot down and just experience just this instant power from the naturally aspirated engine up front. It is just an absolute joy to drive. So should you buy one? Yes. Should you spend $25,000 on one? Probably not, but I'm not complaining.